Hello and welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. This is Benji, and today I'm joined by Yugioh Paradox, who just finished 4th in the Chalislime Monthly, the MBT monthly series played on YGOPRO. Usually got 128 players. You had a very excellent and entertaining top 4 game where Ignore Chain was on, and it was pretty funny to find out that you actually had the evenly matched. Anyways, if anyone's new to the series, I just want to run down what that is. I find someone who knows how to play a deck. We play a few games on YGOPRO. We discuss our plays so you can learn from the decision-making process that's going on. And then we come back to the deck list at the end and we address anything that came up that we might have done differently or other options that are available. But at the beginning, we'll just run through the deck list and discuss any choices made here because I'm sure everybody has their own opinions on how these decks are made. You wanted to shout out the Discord?
Yes. While I did play this deck and I like to think I play it fairly well, I would like to shout out the Mathmech Discord community because with regards to some of the mathematical reasoning behind this deck, as well as the ratios and some of the tech choices, a lot of it was already self-tested to destruction effectively by them before Power of the Elements came out for TCG, and they've been playing with Circular for 3 months, so they are very aware of how to use the card. So I will shout out that community because they have actually done the actual mathematical work and they have provided reasoning on their various Discord channels to give you insight. So I like to think I can at least provide some of that insight for you folk.
Yeah, happy to share. That will be in the description down below if anyone would like to join the Mathmech Discord server. So we'll do a quick card by card and then we'll discuss anything about the ratios in this deck that may not be what people expect. So quickly, we have 3 circular, 3 diameter, 2 sigma, 1 nabla, 3 subtraction, 3 addition, 1 multiplication, 3 ash blossom joyous spring, 1 link infra flyer, 3 DD crow, 1 effect veiler, 1 Mathmech equation, 3 dark ruler no more, 3 signet mining, 1 foolish burial, 3 small world, 1 called by the grave, 3 infinite impermanence, and 2 copies of Mathmech superfactorial. In the extra, we're on 1 Geo Mathmech final sigma, 2 copies of prime Mathmech Alimbertian, 2 copies of Laplacian, 1 access code talker, 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, 1 transcode talker, 1 update jammer, 1 Splash Mage, 1 Cyverse Wicked, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Link Disciple, 1 Link Devotee, 1 Lingaribo. In the side, we are on 3 Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode, 1 copy of the Arrival Cyverse Adignister, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 3 evenly matched, 3 Dimensional Barrier, and a red reboot. And I am aware we have updated the side deck from your CSM match.
Yes, outside from the original CSM deck list, I took out 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, 3 Rivalry, and 1 other card that I am currently can't remember at this moment in time.
Right, cool. So just a quick thing, what are like the big differences between this list and other lists that are out there? I think like Pot of Desires is played in some lists, and Heat Soul are like things that have been played.
Yeah, Pote Desires and Heat Soul are sometimes often sites you would see when it comes to a general Mathmech list. But one reason why I did not play Pote Desires is that I replaced that for Small World in this particular build because being as though Wild Desires is in and of itself a good card and I won't deny people playing it, I do think that when it comes to at least getting the marginal consistency boost from Small World compared to Desires, it has become much more crucial, especially since Circular is what is allowing the deck to be more competitive nowadays. Desires does have a compelling argument in that you can technically use it to draw 2 and get to your sides much faster, and your sides can be fairly important depending on your matchups. But I decided regarding the Chalislime Monthly that the consistency boost was worth it to get to Circular, especially since Circular on its own plays through 1 new mediocre hand trap, like aside from something like Gamma or Ghost Ogre.
Okay, thoughts on Heat Soul?
Heat Soul. There has been a bit of a debate about this, especially for people I have been talking to within the last week since the Chalislime Monthly. But the thing is that for Heat Soul, if you're playing Heat Soul, it is more than likely as a backup play for when you get disrupted. And the thing is that to play Heat Soul, you first have to not be able to not use the Link Disciple line, which can hinder some of your extension plays when you're setting up. And also secondly, the power of Heat Soul's draw often depends on the power of those cards itself, as well as the format. Regarding the actual mathematical reasoning behind Heat Soul, this has been done by the Mathmech Discord community, but in order for Heat Soul on its own to be better than IP Mana going into Appaloosa, Heat Soul will need to draw into at least 1 hand trap to be worth it, and you need to run at a minimum of 16 hand traps in order for Heat Soul to effectively guarantee drawing at least 1 hand trap. And the thing is though, hand traps in this particular format are not as powerful as they used to be, outside a specific targeted one. Ash Blossom still has good amount of power, but DD Crow is only here mainly thanks to Tearlaments and Spright Elf, and Flint Permanent is mainly used both for just mainly for negate floodgates on your own turn, for something like, say, Elshad or Winder. And Effect Veiler in this is mainly there as a small world bridge.
Okay, I was gonna ask. I'm like, this feels a little bit out of place. Yeah. Like, just if you wanted like the one more hand trap, like your hand trap number needed to be at a specific amount, it seems like it would make sense to be here for that reason. But I guess as a small world bridge is something I hadn't considered.
Yeah, when it comes to small world bridges, the main bridges for this particular list are Effect Veiler and Linking for Flyer. Those are the main two bridges to use. Thankfully, they can also bridge with each other if need be.
All right. And let's see, 2 factorial.
Yes, this is a bit more debatable. When it comes to like normal games where if you just play super factorial and then you get no response from it, you should be able to win most of the time, but I am anticipating much more grindier games to play out, especially with Tearlaments, which we actually have a fairly bad matchup against, if only because Laplacian often triggers their Tearlament effects on its own, and they can easily chain block whichever of the important effects, meaning the Omni Negate that I would get from summoning Laplacian is not as effective as it should be.
Alright, yeah, personally, I find Tearlaments are made to beat every deck because of the fact that you can't out them. All big monsters where you would want to send them to the graveyard with a card effect, but you also can't do that. Yeah, they're pretty big counter to everything, and I think that's why this big boy's in here, right?
Yes. Most people will be a bit shocked at seeing an extra deck in the side deck, if only because, one, in the actual Be a Life game, having a extra deck card in your side deck introduces a few ruling and a few tournament guideline issues that you will need to at least consult your local judge about. But
yeah, they're actually supposed to be put in your main deck sleeves, which is annoying to have to then take it out of your main deck sleeve to put it into your side deck sleeve. I mean, your extra deck sleeve.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons, if only for time efficiency in a timed setting. But putting that aside, I put it in the side deck if only because against Tearlaments, they have a very hard time trying to out it. Because it's all of they don't really have any high attack monsters that can go over 4,000 attack, and the monsters they do use that can go over 4,000 attack, say Starving Venom, they need to use outside methods to do so. Like they need to have polymerization on hand to be able to use for their Tearlament monsters, since all the fusion effects often occur just by fusioning from the graveyard, making Starving Venom inaccessible by normal means.
Yeah, just in case anyone's unclear, Starving Venom requires you to use 2 dark monsters on the field specifically, which also means they can't be used to summon like Guardian Chimera.
Exactly. Another reasoning is that some Tearlament decks are using Access Code Talker or Underworld Goddess of the Closed World in order to out big monsters like the Osiris at Ignister, but I often able to make my plays such that I can get Osiris at Ignister plus Super Factorial set up, and if I can do that, if I can determine that they're going for an Access Code Talker play or they're going for a Underworld Goddess play, I can immediately just activate Super Factorial in order to get rid of as many of the cards as possible, as well as have an Omni Negate up in order to curb any future plays.
Alright, I like this. It would be nice to be able to fit in the main deck, but I guess it's just not with the regular game plan.
Yeah, like I was swaying back and forth on whether to put Uso in along with two Laplacian in order to fit in all the options I wanted, but I determined that I wanted to have access to both Final Sigma, the update access code OTK line, along with having the Appaloosa for Tearlament effects in the grave.
Yeah, if this is an alternate good main deck card for other matchups, then it's at least playable against Tearlaments. It's probably worth just maining this. I was playing a Scythe deck and I was siding Appaloosa for like Floowandereeze.
That's perfectly fair. Some people would take issue with having 2 Laplacian in the extra deck, if only because summoning it out more than once often means you're just winning more. Like, it's a win more card in that particular situation. However, I would argue, with regards to Laplacian, there are instances where you'd want to make it going second, as a means to break the opponent's board, as well as having the Omni Gate on it, so you can at least make sure that board break goes through. It won't break the opponent's entire board, more than likely, but at least gives you a starting point and can allow you to free up some of your other plays, especially if you have other extenders in hand to use.
Alright, now just because this came to mind, by the way, I'm on the DB Grinder Patreon at the moment, so there was at least one thing mentioned that was pretty cool cool is like having this second version is useful in case your opponent like crows one of your targets for super factorial, so you can still actually go into something.
Yeah, that's not necessarily the point of having the second edition. A part of the second edition comes when, after you've used super factorial and you've used IP Masquerena on your opponent's first turn, you will more than likely have a Mathmech diameter in hand that you got from summoning it to Cyber's Wicked Zones. Now, just summoning it out and bringing it back and going into addition allows you both a search for a card that you believe will help you win that game, along with being able to set up an Omni Negate in case the opponent had any face downs to use. And even if that face down was something like impermanence to use on the diameter, if you have any amount of extenders or you have any amount of higher link monsters in your extra deck to use, you've effectively outground your opponent, and you can effectively still go for most of the time game from there.
Okay, I just thought it was worth mentioning that sometimes like they do crow like your target, you actually can't resolve it if you played like only 2 Laplacians and 1 Alan-Bertian. It was just something that came up to my mind because
that is fair. It is a side benefit for when DD Crow gets used, which I will note is being used very frequently in this format, if only thanks to Tears and Sprite Elf existing.
Alright, so we're going to go play a few games now, and there is a good chance that we might play against some OCG decks, just because otherwise we might be waiting for matchups forever. But we're going to get into some games, and then afterwards we'll come back to deck list and see if there's anything that didn't come up that we should address. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, let's go first.
Let me know when recording.
Oh, we are going.
Oh, sure, okay.
Oh, we won. That was amazing. Let's see.
Okay.
Perhaps they wanted to go first.
Okay, if they want to go first, meaning... Oh. Okay.
Wrong button, I think that means that they're just going to join me when I host again, so they're going to scoop again?
No, I think they just want to... we're up against Sprite, which is actually a somewhat favorable matchup for us, if only because Super Factorial is able to out their first monsters they summon, meaning their extenders, they have to rely on something like Starter or Deep Sea Diva in order to get out a level 2 monster to guarantee their extension plays.
Alright, well, we have Dark Ruler, which is good in the matchup. Oh, they're searching Smashers.
They're aware of Smashers. They're aware of Dark Ruler, meaning Smashers will be an issue. And with our current hand, while we can make sure their monsters won't really affect us, there's still a matter of their hand traps along with Smashers to stop our board building, especially if we only have small world to really get going.
Yeah, we don't have a good card we want to banish. You don't really want to banish Addition, right?
Addition is actually fine since it is an extender, but any way to get into circular is often worth it. Again, this is part of why I have Lincoln for Flyer as the Smallwood Bridge.
Gotcha. Alright, looks like they're going to end with the Elf and Toad. Odds are their hand contains a starter if they search Smashers. I doubt they necessarily took it on purpose.
There's a good chance of that, depending on how many cards they set. So we're expecting two Toad activations that will be stopped thanks to Dark Ruler No More and Smashers, at least. Okay, I'm assuming we'll have either Imperm or Starter as the other card. Oh, actually, this has... Opening up Diameter has opened up our plays much more significantly now. Also, Dark Ruler No More to start with.
Get Dark Rulered. Activate Cross-Out Designator. Call Dark Ruler. Alright.
Okay, first of all, use Small World using Addition as the starting point.
It's really great how this doesn't banish his cost, so they don't get information unless they allow it to go through.
Yeah, thankfully. Oh, they really want to get Toad off the field and get it back to the extra deck, it seems. But yeah, Addition, go for Info Flyer, and then you get Circulate the hand.
Let's go math. Woo! Alright.
Thankfully, we've also opened the Super Factorial, meaning we can search for a formula if need be. We won't be able to OTK this turn, but we can at least simplify the board state.
Alright. I assume we start with Circular?
Yeah, we start with Circular, sending Sigma.
Sigma's like the one that just specials itself for no cost or anything?
Yeah, but we will not start with Sigma afterwards. Let's just see what their next play is first.
Does it matter what zones I go for?
Leftmost zone.
Leftmost? Okay.
Let's see what they do. Okay, now normal summon Diameter.
Any zone's fine?
Any zone is fine in this case. Okay, and do not chain link the diameter. Do not chain link circular to diameter. Just do diameter activation only. Okay, DD Crow. That's a bit of an issue, no doubt. But frankly, we still have diameter in play, so we can go for Alimbertion from here.
So now we have an Omni.
Yeah, so if you decide to use Smashes now, we will be able to stop it. So use Alimbertion's effect to search. Okay, they have the infinite permanence. You will have to negate them, obviously. But if they decide to use Smashes here, yes, right, that means they will banish our monster, meaning infinite permanence will lose its target, so we can get our search target off now.
Well, we already negated Imperm, so we were going to get it off anyway.
Okay. Now, in this case, I would recommend we search for either an addition or subtraction, since we've already used our normal summon this turn.
All right.
Additional doesn't really matter either one in this particular situation. Then, frankly, we can use addition effect on the dupe frog to summon it. This is just to ensure we have 3 names all in the graveyard. That's what's needed to get the Laplacian's effect off fully. And go with any link one would be fine. I'd say going to link label. And okay, and now we just set super factorial and hope for the best for next turn. This is not an ideal setup, but I would recommend that we immediately use the super factorial at the start of that turn. So there we go.
So we're just kind of, let's see.
Going immediately into Laplacian.
Okay, so we're hoping to hit their level 2 in their hand and the level 2 on the board, although the Dupe Frog I don't think will miss timing.
It will miss timing due to the Wen effect, and it's being sent with other cards, right?
Well, those cards are all sent simultaneously, I believe, so it really depends on the wording. I just did a video on specifically how missing the timing works.
Okay, fair. I would, when you use Laplacian's effect, I would just leave the addition attached to it, since it does nothing in the grave. Yeah, of course, send the random card and send the monster. And frankly, we also have an Omni Negate attached to this, so this should help. Okay, Dark Ruler no more helps in this situation.
Now, they added a guy back last turn, I would assume, when they sent the Toad.
Yeah, they added back Swap Fog. So we know they would have 2 Swap Fogs in rotation.
Okay, so we should just leave this alone.
Yeah. And honestly, they also have Ronin Toad in Engrave, so they're going to have at least a level 2 on field no matter what. But I would argue that the best case in this situation is to stop Gigantic Spright from resolving.
All right, I found out something interesting yesterday I wasn't aware of, that Gigantic Sprite's effect to detach. There's no point stopping that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, leave Ronin Toad and they have more than enough Fogs Engrave.
Yeah. So what I found out yesterday is that Gigantic Sprite can detach from any Xyz monster they control, not necessarily itself. So if you like Ogre it and they have a Toad on board already, they can still detach. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a pretty interesting quirk. But because Ogre is a viable opportunity against Gigantic Sprite if they have nothing else. Okay, they're going straight for Elf. They want to get back, but they don't get back Toad. We kind of have to stop, otherwise they can just run over us. So,
gosh darn Toad being so big.
Can't really do much about that. Now they have 2 cards left in hand, along with Ronin Toad into use.
Okay, I mean our odds didn't look particularly good anyway.
Yeah, it was not the greatest of hands to start with, but...
Well, I think it's just they had like one more interruption than we could handle.
Yeah.
So yeah, my few testing games before my regional yesterday, my friend, he had his Toad stuck on board with his Ronin Toad and attached to it for a long time because I wasn't giving him cards to negate, and eventually he just summoned Giant Spright and used Giant Spright to detach the Ronin Toad from the... Totally awesome. Okay,
that's fair. Right, okay. So, yeah, we are a bit of an unwinnable situation at this moment. Like, they're going to get to starter, then get to red and everything else they need. But since they no longer have Toad, that will mean if we manage to draw circular or or diameter next turn, we should be good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, we have the out to the board. We just need a place starter. And the problem is, well, you used one already. And we can't, like, use Signet Mining to get one, because we can't pitch Dark Ruler.
Especially if they decide to get Cavit out, yeah. Going for another rank 2 Centuria. Okay, so this likely means they're going for a Zeus play now.
Well, you can't go for Zeus.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah, I forgot about Gigantic's limitation.
I think they forget that sometimes. I guess they just thought this was bigger, but they just gave up a... No, they didn't really give anything up to do this.
I mean, if they already needed attack power, they already had Gigantic Sprite. I'm assuming they just want... Oh, okay, Gamma Burst. This is... Okay, now this is more than likely game.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen anyone actually play this, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it can be very powerful in an unexpected situation. So we'll take 34 here.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna let them kill us. You know.
And then we'll take 46. So this would be an OTK, even at full life.
Indeed. All right. Well, now we know what they're on. We're going into game 3.
Okay.
Side pattern
game
here.
3. In this case, for Sprite, I would recommend to side in 3-dimensional barrier and side out the Ash Blossom, since they were on red and they will find a way to make sure they can get red on field before their major plays.
All right, so we good like this?
I would say so. Yes. Let's go first up. Obviously. Oh, okay, we've opened a very good hand at this point. First off, Circular's Effect.
Sigma, right?
Okay.
Oh, we have Sigma
don't necessarily send Sigma. I would argue send Nabla instead in this case. This way, if they decide to DD Cross, they still have Sigma in hand to use. So yeah, don't summon Sigma yet. Summon out Diameter next.
So preferably we do Diameter after Circular if possible.
Yeah, summon out Diameter. Don't chain Circular yet. I want to get the Omni Indicator up first before we search for the Super Factorial.
Okay, I was trying to understand the lane. So we're going to overlay for Allen Burschen here and then...
Yeah, using Nabla and Circular. And Diameter, I mean, yeah.
Any particular zone?
Rightmost zone. Why not?
Oh. It can use more than 2, so that's what was confusing me here.
Yeah, Allen Burschen does have kind of other neat effects that we don't often use, like between materials you can search for any level 4, and for 4 materials you can search for any spell trap, which has been used to the generate effect in the OCG to search for floodgates.
Gotcha. Chainlink order.
I would say Chainlink 1 Allen Burschen, and Chainlink 2 Circular.
Okay, so that actually kind of encourages our opponent to try and hand trap the Circular, but then they need 2 because they need to also stop Allen Burschen.
Yeah. Yeah, and even if they have 2, we still have Sigma in hand to use for more plays. So in this case, we already have Sigma in this case, and we already have 3 monsters in rotation. So in this case, I would say, depending on what happens next turn, I would say get another Circular.
Alrighty.
Now we just special some Sigma from hand. And now we can go for the standard first turn play. So first of all, we go for Link 1 into Disciple. Then the next Link 1 into Devotee.
And I think I have to do this on the left side of the board because I put Allen Burschen where it is.
Yeah, it's just a case of if you keep it in the left Allen Burschen in the leftmost zone, you can effectively put it with that anywhere. I would not have recommended to do that, actually.
Oh.
You can, because Allen Burschen has its own effect to tribute a monster to summon back a Mathmech from hand or grave, and Devotee they can trigger from tributing just as long as cooling. It doesn't have to be through Disciple's effect.
Gotcha.
Okay, we've drawn Equation in this case. Oh.
Did we have a use for it, or should we maybe put it back?
I'd say, in this situation, depending on worst case scenario, I'd say put back the Equation.
Okay. Now we have to do the tokens because it was tributed.
Yeah. if we use the Albertian negate instead of the Disciple negate, we wouldn't be able to get an extra body on board for IP plays.
We'll have to run through that maybe in a test hand after this game.
That's fair. Okay, so summon out the tokens. Doesn't really matter where in this case.
Just checking because I know the Wicked is coming.
Yeah. I'd say go for Link 2 using the token and the Disciple, obviously. And then the Link 2 into IP using the Albertian and the token. Then we use Wicked's effect here. I'd say banish the Albertian, just in case they have a Call by the Grave. They get a diameter. And we just set Super Factorial and end this turn.
Okay. So in the long run, did we still get where we were going, but did we just like give up the Albertian to do it?
We would have had Albertian still on field. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind then. Dark Balloon would have scuppered those plans anyway.
Alright. When people say use standard turn 1 Link Disciple, Link Devotee play, I thought I knew what that meant.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is an important effect. They're going to get the level 2 Atmosphere no matter what, so I would say use...
Like, there's a chance that if we don't use this, they just summon, like, Carrot and negate it?
That is easily possible, yes. But the thing is that if they had Carrot, they would have normally summoned out any extenders, meaning they probably don't have any extenders that they can't get around Super Factorial, so they want to get out Diva to ensure they have a level 2 out, no matter what. I think we should use Super Factorial anyway, in this case.
I do anyway. I mean, I think they would have started with this anyway.
Perhaps, yeah, but there were Super Factorial, they must do. So if they had Carrot, they would have summoned it and then any extenders. But it seems like they don't. But I don't think they have Carrot in hand.
I thought they might have this.
It won't really stop us, thankfully. So which depends on which they're going up for blue. Okay. But this means they can't go into any higher Link plays, so they're going to stick with level, rank, and Link 2 monsters.
Whoops, didn't really mean to put that there, but...
It doesn't really matter too much in this particular situation. Okay, well, go for Laplacian, send 2 material. I'd send the Nabla and send the diameter.
Does it matter what we send?
In this case, I would say to send the Spright blue, since they're going to have a tune on field no matter what, so Hawk access is there. And since all the Sprites are inherent summons, then that means they'll be able to summon off with no real issue. Ignore the Snapple activation, doesn't really matter in this situation.
What does it do?
It mainly gives you an extra attack and gives a Cyberus monster in the extra monster zone 2 attacks on monsters, which is good for OTK lines, but not really for situations like this.
Okay.
Yeah, let that jet resolve.
Oh, good. Good you said that, because I had already done
that. Because in this case, okay, now they have Carrot. They have the Spell Trap Negate up.
Yeah, I thought they would have still started with Diva either way.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because they could just put it out. So the idea was to see if we would take the bait and, like, hold, because they didn't start with it.
Okay, fair enough. It's just a case of if they get out Diva and we don't contest that, and they summon out Carrot next, we lose access to Super Factorial.
Exactly. So I thought they would do that. I don't think we care about the particular tuner they summon.
They're more than likely going to be summoning out Gamma in this case. So I'd say that's fine for the moment. Oh, Hoppier Squadron. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have Toad? They're probably going to go for Toad then, with Carrot and Jet, and then summon out Okay, with the how can said, never mind.
Well, they should battle phase here, but they didn't. I guess we're negating that.
I would say negate that, yes, because if they get out Swap Frog, they were able to recur Hoppier back to hand. That gives them access to level 4 single plays, like Hell
That's what I
W
assume
Arclight.
their play was.
Yeah. Okay, well, they're going to banish our monster, but that we still get the negate off.
Okay, so now that they weren't getting Swap Frog, there's no point in them bouncing that to hand.
Okay, that's cool. So now they are actually left in a fairly vulnerable position. Depending on what their last card is, it could be very not good. Okay, Sprite up. This is actually a good situation now. What will they target?
What they target, I think, is less important than whether or not we should crow on this turn or next turn. If we crow on this turn, we keep a link 2. If we crow on next turn, we have a crow for a follow-up that they would do with their elf.
Well, they could go for something like a link 2, which can open up Hulk plays, like, say, that single level 6 monster that can discard a card from my hand. What did they choose?
They chose Carrot.
Carrot, okay, so they're fearful of spell traps. And that doesn't actually matter in this case. So I'd say let it resolve.
Alright. I'm just thinking if we crow it now, we get to keep one of these. I don't know if either of these are worth keeping at this point, but...
they were not worth keeping at this point. They're able to be attacked just fine. But they were not going to take any damage anyway, so...
Yeah, well, it wasn't a matter of damage. It was a matter of, like, we can make our access code unaffected by or indestructible.
Again, maybe, but again, we have circular and we have diameter in hand from our plays last turn, so we are still good.
Yeah, also, I mean, just they didn't get the Swap Frog, so the options they have for crowing on the Sprite Elf next turn are pretty good, just because, like, any card that they want to summon next turn is going to be in order to, what's the word?
Yeah. Okay, we've drawn Lincoln for Flyer, which is, while some people would argue this is a bad situation since it's meant to be a small world bridge, I'd argue that since it's a free extender with no real limitation to it, and you can special summon it without activating an effect, it does help with regards to doing our link plays much more effectively. Okay, but I would argue do not use Dark Ruler no more, because I think we can OTK.
Fair. Alright. Where do we start?
I would say start with the moment we do something, they're gonna try to use Spright Elf, more than likely.
But they can only really, like, summon Jet or Blue, and we can crow either one.
Oh wait, did they not summon Red?
They never got to it.
Oh right, yeah, okay, never mind then. In that case, we can pretty much do anything we want.
Alright. What's the line?
Okay.
Does it matter which one we start with? It doesn't matter. We might as well just pick one.
Actually, I'll just actually start with Diameter first, just in case. We have no idea what the unknown card in hand is, so we may as well force it. If it's something like Effect Railer.
Okay.
Use the effect, target, I'd say another circular.
They should know both of these cards that we had to start with.
Yeah. If they have... If any... So then they'll go for the Alan Bershon next. Okay, this sets up on the gate. Go for Alan Bershon. Now we can search for pretty much anything we need. Okay, they're using Elf here, targeting the Hulk, which can be important, so I'd use the Crow on that.
Yeah, because, you know, whatever the last card in hand, Alan Bershon negates, and then all we have to do is put out access code attack twice.
Okay, yeah, and now we win. There we go.
Alright, so let's briefly go back to the deck list screen to do a test hand to show the optimal line for the Link Disciple that I didn't quite catch earlier.
Actually, just go for one card hand, go for circular, and then I can just demonstrate.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Now we do the normal line as we demonstrated in the Sprite game. Send a Sigma, summon out circular, use Sigma's effect to summon, and then search for Super Factorial.
So in this case, because we have no way of putting out the Alan Bershon, we're going to have to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, this is the basic play if you only have circular in hand.
Alright. Alan Bershon?
Yes.
On summon detach 2, search a Mathmech monster or Mathmech card.
Yeah, in this case, we'll be searching for Diameter. Okay, summon out the diameter. Then you revive pretty much anyone in this case. I'd recommend circular, just in case to preserve Sigma for later turns. But
All right. Oh, it get banished here. Oh, no.
it does not get banished. It only gets banished if it's summoned by its own effect.
Gotcha.
That's just used as link material. It will stay in the graveyard.
Okay, so it didn't
Now
make a
if it goes,
difference.
yeah, not in this situation, but if they had DD Crow, for example, we would prefer to choose circular so you could preserve Sigma for later turns.
Fair. That makes sense. All right. Disciple Devotee.
Yeah.
But instead of using...
The Disciple effect, we will use Alan Bersham's secondary effect. This allows us to tribute a monster to summon back a level 4 Mathmech from Hand of Grave. So I choose circular in this case.
For the same reason, try and preserve the other ones?
Yeah. And now we get Devotee's effect.
So here we're passing on the draw and put back because we like our cards anyway?
Yeah, but this is more for field advantage over the mulligan that Disciple gives, which
Gotcha.
can be important if you have, like, say, multiplication in hand, but it's more for not very relevant. So I'd say go for Wicked from here using a token and Disciple. And then we go for a Link 2 using the circular and the token.
So IP?
Yeah.
Do we have any use for this Alan Bershan at this point?
This is mainly to act as link material during the opponent's turn. I'd say banish a link monster in this situation. Banish the devotee since we're not going to be tributing it anymore. So I'd say search for diameter as the follow-up play. And then set the super factorial, and this is the most basic end mode we can make.
Okay, and with better cards, we might have had the Alan Bershan have a negate on it.
That to make our plays more protected. Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to play one more match, and then I think we're going to go back to the deck screen and discuss anything that could have been done differently. All right, cool. Let's go into our next match. Hopefully our opponent won't just scoop game one and we'll get a free win. That was weird.
No doubt, yeah. Sadly, we didn't actually do our first turn play that, but given our hand, we likely would still been able to have a fairly good game one. Gus, your friendly B. Okay.
I wonder what the B stands for.
I'd rather not to go into that, just in case not to get this video demonetized.
Oh, well, we're well beyond the first 30 seconds that any human being has time to read.
Okay. But yeah, we have circular and we have subtraction, which will help in this case, in case you have disruption. So go for circular first.
Then Sigma, summon circular.
I'd say play as if we only have circular for the moment.
Alright.
So come back Sigma.
Search.
Circular's effect.
Alan Bershan. Making sure I learn this play. Search for diameter.
Yep. People often underestimate diameter, but the thing is though, even if you negate its effects on field, so long as you can use it as synchro or exceed material, either way, it still can stop a negate and you can still put pressure on the opponent too.
The link ones.
Yeah, now we go for the linked disciple.
This is the play we just went over.
Yeah.
Use Alan Bershan. And we summon Memory Serves.
I would say circular in this case.
Is all playing around the DD Crow. I forgot it was something from Grave. I thought it was getting like the last one from deck or something.
Yeah, Alan Bershan is very good for follow-up plays as well. Not even also acting as a starter. If we open any two random Mathmechs that we can summon. Go for IP in this case. Then you banish the devotee, I'd argue.
Yeah, I just keep thinking like it'd be nice not to banish the access code pops, but we kind of need the super factorial to be live.
Access code pops, like if we decide the climate fit, we will have enough material anyway, so there's no need to think about that.
All right, just set 2 pass.
Yeah, we said 2 pass. So we have Super Factorial Live, IP Live for an Appaloosa, Impermanence, and Ash Blossom. And if things go really badly, we have Dark Blue
To break back.
Diameter, and Subtraction for follow up.
All right.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. Manju.
That is a fun card.
I'd say do not touch that for now. Let's see what kind of ritual deck they're using. And I'd say activate the Super Factorial after they search. Okay, activate it. Okay, never mind. You didn't activate it immediately. Actually, never mind. This will work. Activate Super Factorial right now. I'd argue.
Okay, so did you want to activate it before just to verify?
I wanted to activate it immediately after they confirm their search target.
Okay. Yeah, so that's my fault if this goes wrong. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Because there is a possibility that they have like the Relinquished fusion and they can like activate it once the monster gets on board, I think.
Yeah. It's just a case of I wanted to confirm their actual strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, send me into a Wicked Zone.
That was a misclick. I thought it was asking me to pick the monsters I was using. So I had to click this zone to click the second monster. So I passed up on a search, which is my fault.
Actually, not quite. Thing is, though, a monster was summoned to Wicked Zone, if only very briefly. So, actually, they're using the Illusionist effect here, and effectively, when it's special, they can recur back the Illusionist. But that doesn't really matter too much in this case, because we can use Super Factorials. So we're using the Laplacian's effect now, sending the Sigma and the Diameter, detaching from it.
It said I had the ability to use Wicked.
Yes, because I was trying to say this, but during Super Factorial summon, you summon to a zone Wicked points to, if only very briefly.
Oh, okay.
Meaning its effect will trigger.
We already have a Diameter in hand, so should we get rid of the other one and try and keep one of these?
I'd say keep it in graveyard just in case. Banish the Disciple. Let's see if they have some kind of response. No. Okay, so let this go. You search for Nabla in this case. We already have Diameter.
And we hit a Super Poly. Nice.
Oh!
I guess we get rid
The
of
fact
Relinquished.
they did not use Super Poly means they're not using any fusion monsters that will stop our particular board, it seems.
Yeah, there are some good all Cyvers cards.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Like World Chalice, Guard Dragon, Armaduke for his 3 Link monsters. Earth Golem, Agnister would have been good.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Relinquished matchup?
Didn't really think about Relinquished, not gonna lie. But honestly, I think we'll be fairly good. Like, their main players will be getting out their fusion monsters, the Millenniumize Restrict in order to stop as many of our plays along with eating our monsters. So I think they want us to go first. And okay, never mind. Then they lost connection.
And the series has this issue of people not wanting to play the full game, but it is what it is. I think we could play one more.
Okay, sure. But honestly, like, if he did not disconnect, I would argue we'd go first and put in Dark Dimensional Barrier to use for either the fusion or the ritual, depending on which was required.
Yeah, I think they should work on their Super Poly lineup. An Earth Golem Agnister seems like something people should consider with Mathmech running around.
Or the new fusion Garuva.
Oh yeah, that would also work. Most of the Mathmechs kind of vary in their attribute. Right?
They have their own variants and attributes, but there are plenty of common ones between them. So, okay, we're going first now.
Oh no, we didn't open circular. What will we do?
It's a very small world. I'm sure we could find them, but that's circular, somewhere.
How many copies of these do we play?
3 of each of addition and subtraction. Doesn't really matter which one you...
Just checking.
Yeah. Each fly is the main bridge, I would say. And you search for the circular.
Alright, so we're playing with a 4-card hand, but we have a full combo.
Pretty much, yes. I'd say to play as if we only have circular in hand to use, just in case they have, let's say, a DD Crow.
It'd be preferable if they had DD Crow in this case, so we don't have to call by our own Ash.
Perhaps, but it all depends on what kind of deck they're using. If they're on Tearlaments, Called by the Grave will come in very useful, especially if they use Shaylin. No, sorry, Hofness, I mean.
I'm starting to just play. What's the other one? Skirin, I think they renamed it to.
Okay, Skirin, sorry.
No, a different one. Hofness is still Hofness. It's just spelled a little differently.
Okay.
But Skirin is
Skirin is
the one to use on your turn. Shaylin, I think that's what it was called, but I think they renamed it.
Bring back the circular.
Yeah, so they renamed it, but now it's just an extender. I like it. Like I just play it in any deck.
Sorry, what?
You can play like the Scalen in any deck to just summon itself and send a card from your hand to the graveyard and mill 3. So I'm just like playing it in my... I play Orcus PK, so I want to mill every card and I want to send cards. So I'm just playing it as an extender.
That's fair. Again, Alumbrician Tribute.
I remembered this time. Summon from graveyard, we do circular.
Yeah.
So we can dodge Crow or have Crow mean less.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Now, I was just realizing, do we actually have a use for this Alumbrician, or should we be using it for the link material, and so we can make a Linger Rebo? I don't know if that matters.
Mainly, you can't use Linger Rebo for it since it requires level 4 or lower, but that's mainly for link material with IP Mask Arena.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I meant we can make like Wicked here, and then make IP with the Alumbrician, and then we still can make the Cybers?
Doesn't really matter in this case, but I just prefer to keep Alumbrician up because of the high tax stat.
Fair enough. I was just curious how much it mattered to you.
I would prefer to get rid of the token because we do have like Appaloosa, which can't use tokens.
Oh.
And we need to keep circling graveyards for the... Actually, yeah, there is a legitimate reason. Get rid of the token because you can't use IP with tokens to summon Appaloosa, and get rid of circular for IP in order to get engraved to keep Super Factory alive at all times.
This is it, right?
Yeah, this is a perfectly good hand.
Okay. We want to keep this zone open so that we can at least summon a guy to the zone. I think I will activate this card for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. This is a bit of an odd situation because in this case, Laplacian will only have a hand rep as well as an Omni Negate, which is still halfway decent, but its power is much more diminished since you don't get the field disruption. Okay, summon Laplacian to Wicked Zone.
Do we have to? Because we've already summoned a guy somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to keep it under Cyber's Wicked.
I had already clicked, so I was trying to cover for my mistake. I click. Okay. Wicked.
It doesn't really matter too much in this case, but again, use Laplacian's effect first. Detach a Sigma in this case.
That way we can definitely use it. Wicked, search, banish Disciple, search for Nabla.
Yeah. Let's see what they have in response.
It would be nice to go second. We haven't actually gotten... Well, we did go second one game, but we just had a bunch of Dark Rulers.
Yeah, if he had one more extender, we probably would have been good in that particular scenario.
Or if they had one less hand trap that was relevant. Or
it happens. Can't really do much about that, but we still won that match overall.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a free win there.
Okay, yeah.
So they're ashing the search. Do we care?
They're going for the Nabla search. We already have that Diameter and Addition, and so I don't think we really care about that. So that's fine. That they just lost the card for nothing in this situation.
All right, just let me know when we should do the IP.
Okay, what? Okay, the Chatri-La, the OCG cards from Darkwing Blast. This may be a bit of an issue then.
Yeah, so I'm going to have some issues with some newer cards for whatever reason. They don't seem to be loading, so I think we're only going to play the game one here. Not because I only want to, but because I can't deal with
Okay. They have another Fenrir in hand. That's the... Can I read this? Okay.
Adds a monster.
Okay. It all depends on what the next play is, because they can just do nothing and then just attack and into Laplacian. But I think in this situation, what's its actual effect? Can you?
Yeah, let's fully read it. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's like a level 7 24/24 Earth Psychic. You can only use each of the effect of Kostri Lofenrir once per turn. During your main phase, you can add one monster from your deck to your hand. When this card declares an attack, or if your opponent's monster activates an effect, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. So if we were to activate something, it could activate to try and banish one of our guys face down, but if it attacks, it'll also try and banish one of our guys face down, but we also don't really want them to search a monster.
Yeah, but thankfully it targets, meaning we can dodge with IP Masquerena. So I'd say don't do anything for the moment, but keep your hand on the always chain button.
Yeah. Speaking of, that seems to have turned off. Where are those?
High chain buttons.
Yeah, I like to keep those on.
Yeah, you keep always chain on for the moment.
We have the Ash also, we can just Ash him.
It depends on what they want to use, because they know that Laplacian has an Omnium Negate attached to it, so...
Yeah. Oh, before we started the video, Circular's image wasn't loading. I had to like download the image and throw it into my folder. So I might have to like re-download my code.
Oh, Exo-Sister. Okay, so this is a bit of a hybrid. And they have the packs. Okay, this is interesting. I'd say use the Ash Blossom on this.
The only benefit we have from Ash at this point is that it's unknown, so there's a chance we can like hold it. I don't know.
This is the last known card, and if we do this and we can stop the Fenrir with the Laplacian, we should be good.
All right.
So, keep always chain on it, by the way.
Yeah.
They're choosing whether to use Fenrir, but they know. Okay, they're allowing it to pass then.
That was
Let's keep always chain on.
Yeah. All right. So they're trying to end main phase, so they're going to attempt to battle.
Okay. In this case, this is a bit of an odd situation. Their Kshatriyala would contest the...
Like, this is the reason I was thinking we should hold the Ash, because if we use Laplacian to negate, we would have the Ash for when he goes for the monster search after he goes for battle, and then we would maybe be able to invest into IP into access code, because neither of these cards could have outed it.
Perhaps. But the thing is, though, I just want to make sure to keep as much of a board presence as possible, not necessarily to stop their plays.
Okay. Well, let's see what they want to attack. I would imagine they'll attack.
Again, this is the end of the main phase, so we have to use IP now, so just trigger it.
All right. Oh, we could just make a really big...
I would say actually go for Transcode Talker.
Okay. Using IP...
Use it and the Allen Bertian. And summon it to below Wicked.
I think we used the kit already when we did... Oh, but now they are both bigger. That's cool.
And they can't be targeted, meaning if they want to use Kshatriyala's effect, they have to use it on the
They continue their main phase. They're going to do the monster search. So now more stuff's going to happen with monsters we can't read. Oh, wait.
Again, if their opponent activates a monster effect, they can use the banish effect. But
okay, so they're currently banishing, so we have to negate, otherwise we just lose it for nothing. But now they get to search a monster, and I hope they load. I might have to reinstall this YGOPRO to deal with that issue.
Okay, yeah.
So just so everyone knows, this is just an archetype of level 7 psychics that kind of summon themselves, and they either search a monster, a spell, or a trap card, and they usually have like some random effect that banishes a card face down. I think one of them goes into like your top 5 cards, one goes into your extra deck, and one gets your monsters on the field.
Okay, like at this point, Laplacian does nothing, so they may as well get rid of it. And Wicked itself cannot be destroyed by anything, so they're getting a Fenrir, which they cannot summon since they control no monsters.
Okay.
And okay, good. Oh, okay, Dark Blue no more. That works.
Do we want to bother with that? I mean, we don't want to trigger the Exo-Sister.
Okay, they're on 7,200 life points, meaning this should be just game. So just like say, summon addition to Wicked. So sorry, to using its effect to target the transcode. So it's now on 38.
So this thing might banish our guy?
It would banish the addition if they want to use it. But I letting it go, since it doesn't really matter. It's a level 4 that can't do much on its own, so they're saving it.
Alright.
Okay, so I say normal sum diameter, but do not use its effect. Do not use its effect at all. Then we're going to use Wicked, the addition, and the diameter for access code talker.
We could make update jammer first.
Yeah, we could. Fair enough. No cards activating, so yeah, we can go for update jammer. But it doesn't really matter in this case since we already had enough damage on board without the update jammer. Do not use Wicked's effect.
Well, they can't target it. And, well...
I know, but I still don't want to get their monsters on board. This should be game, and make sure that access code talker is the target.
Alright, now we just kill both of these cards, and the game's over?
Yeah, destroy the Exosister first.
Yeah, so it doesn't trigger. Initial wind. Pop the Exo-Sister.
And we win. GG.
Alright, I don't know if I can play game 2, because the cards aren't loading.
We should be able to. It's only a matter of the card art. That does not really matter too much.
It matters to the viewers. What should we side in?
Okay, this is a bit of an odd. This is mainly built for TCG, obviously. So I imagine they want us to go. They want to go first to set up their lines and such. So
Probably.
I'd say put in the evenly matched.
It's probably a safe bet.
And maybe put in the raw sphere mode.
Alright, and what do we cut?
The cards are to cut. DD Foe I don't think helps in this situation at all.
I agree.
And Dark Blue no more. If they're using the Exo-Sisters, that means they reliant on their spells and traps to tag out, meaning Dark Blue no more does not really affect them, only the Shotri-La cards. And okay, but I think that should be good.
Alright, well, we'll see. I don't know this new deck that well.
I faced against them a couple of times, but we have... this is not the best hand, but... Okay, but I think save some of our responses. Don't use the Ash from this. It might be good to get more of a peek at the deck.
Yeah.
Oh, don't use free cards.
Blank card. Let's go.
They're only banishing free cards, meaning they pretty much have everything already in hand. Oh god.
Well, the
they can't use it.
No, but they got another one of the
They added the Elise.
Yeah.
And now the packs. They're probably going to go for Martha, so save the Ash Blossom for the Martha.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice to know that they don't have the Martha in hand to just use again next turn.
Actually, wait. Does Elise summon from hand?
Let's double check.
Click the log.
If you control an Exo-Sister, you can special this from hand.
Just an extender. Okay, so...
I don't think they play Gamma. I would prefer to stop hacks.
Yeah, in this case, I think use the Ash Blossom because this will allow them to get Michaelis summon, meaning they can search their new trap, the Litania.
Returnia, yeah.
Okay, now they summon it and don't do anything. Oh, okay, that will actually pretty good now.
Evenly off the top, let's go.
And
Aww.
Okay, not the best draw, but I think this might be decent. If we just normal summon the diameter in hand, and we just go straight into battle phase.
I was thinking there was a chance we just go battle and threaten their trap card, maybe the one that summons two girls from the deck. Then we can just sphere mode all of them. That would have been cool.
Oh,
but there's no guarantee that they respond when we don't actually have a threat.
At this point, they probably consider that we are afraid of the Exo-Sisters, so they will want to, if they want to force the Exo-Sisters on board, now is their time. Okay, they're searching now. Okay, that mentions the Elise, so meaning they can summon it.
Yeah. So Elise mentioned Stella, so they search Stella and summon Stella. So now they'll have another Exo-Sister.
And they already have Litania, of course.
So that's banishes.
And now they can exceed summon. Oh yeah, they're going for it. Cast Patel.
On
That player
summon.
can splash something from the graveyard. That's fine. That does not actually matter to us at this moment. So that's fine. Let it resolve. Set the imperm in the spell trap zone that they have column. So and pass.
Okay. This one
I was
searches
hoping
monsters, so
I
at
was
least
hoping they would at least kill the diameter and send it to grave, but okay, may as well use the imperm here. This effectively leaves them in top decking mode if their spell trap can't do anything. Oh, never mind, it's Vadis.
Oh no, that's a very, 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 very good card.
Yeah, it forces their responses. So.
Well, it means the sphere mode might be on at some point.
Well, let's see. They drew a card and they gained a bit of extra life.
Well, they only ate it before with tax twice, so. Oh, Vadis also pays 8, and okay.
Yeah, and now they're going for the Mikala.
Okay, this is decreasing the likelihood we're going to get to sphere mode because they probably make whatever the big one's name is, Magnifica?
The Lancate, Magnifica, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going for another Pax.
That might put another monster on board. That could be good. But yeah, the Magnifica like reduces their monster count.
Yeah. And what they searched the Martha.
Oh, well, now they might just have
and they're just summoning it. Okay.
I think that might just be game.
No, not actually. Wait, actually, yeah, never mind. They banished a couple from my deck.
Yeah, so Martha has the effect that if either player moves a card from the graveyard.
Yeah, I forgot about that particular tidbit for Martha. So, yeah, this is more than likely game for us.
All right, so 36. Yeah, we can let them attack first. You know, I try not to scoop on people if possible. If they want a consistent, if they're doing a long combo, I might just scoop. But that wasn't too bad.
This was a well-deserved win from them. MBT is not really drawn to any actual starters or a real extender.
Yeah. I'm not so sure I'm confident with the sphere modes anymore, but we're not.
Yeah, not for going first at least. Take out the evenlies as well.
I wonder if this card's good here.
Yeah, Dimensional Barrier will help here.
All right.
Red Reboot, they need their traps to really get going.
I kind of want this Duster. I mean, I know we're going first, but it seemed like they had a lot of traps, and it'll be nice to force everything out. Well, actually, I kind of like Dark Ruler if they actually get through.
Honestly, like the Dark Ruler only really contests the Shashri-La cards, which we can easily play around. So I'd say put in 2 Cosmic Cyclone.
Okay. That will work. Let's go.
That should work.
Um.
Okay, not the best start, but it's still workable. Small World. Banish a Diameter. Infraflyer. And get the Circular.
Alrighty.
Okay, now we can go for the 2-card play where we have both Circular and Diameter in hand. So send the Sigma.
Okay. I'm going to let you talk me through this because I'm always a little iffy on this one. Alright.
Okay, I will ask you to normal summon the Diameter and use effect to summon back Sigma, obviously.
But do not use Circular.
No, I want to get the Omni Negator before they do anything. Don't use it yet. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. Go for Alan Bershan using Sigma and Diameter. Okay, now we go Chainlink 1, the Alan Bershan, and Chainlink 2, Circular. They have some kind of response, so... Okay. I'd say to use the Negator on here. Because you want to get because no matter what happens in this turn, we will have Diameter live with we'll have Superfactorial live with Diameter and Grave.
What do we get?
Okay. I'd say search for an extender, either addition or subtraction.
All right, ready?
Then summon out subtraction. Do not use Sigma, because that will be banishing itself.
I was just double checking.
Yeah. I prefer to keep the Sigma alive for later turns, but there is an argument to be made to use it now and summon out, do the normal plays, then you summon up subtraction for more link material. But I want to make sure we have something to do next turn.
Gotcha.
Now we go use Alan Bersham's effect to tribute the devotee.
What do we want?
Subtraction. Like, it's the least inconsequential one for them to disrupt.
Okay.
Then devotee's effect. Wicked will now trigger.
What?
Wicked will now be summoned. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm like, so how am I supposed to trigger it? I never summoned it. I'm like making sure I didn't miss something. All right,
Yeah.
IP?
IP using the subtraction and the token.
Okay, just making sure I didn't miss something crazy.
Banished one of the links for a diameter. This is the only diameter, so not the greatest place. I say only set superfactorial, just in case there's something like Harvey's Feather Duster.
All right, and pass here.
Yes.
Nabla hasn't come up too much. What is this useful for? The OTK is using like Mathmech, Final Sigma.
Opening up Nabla plus an extender does pretty much get you full combo. Okay, Doctor no more. That's a bit of a hindrance.
So I guess we just let that go.
Let that go. Yeah, you can't do much of anything.
I believe that's Martha.
Okay, I'd say summon it now because we will summon it out before we get out Exo-Sisters, meaning we can effectively stop, make sure they don't summon up any Exo-Sisters, and to disrupt their hand and have an Omni negate up. Plus, them going for Martha first means they have none of the Shotfilar cards in their hand at the moment.
I keep picking the wrong zone. Oh, well, whatever. Because it would have been nice to chain block it with the Wicked, even though it couldn't activate.
Yeah. Wicked doesn't really matter in this case. The only really thing that can activate that situation would be a Gamma, but they have monsters now, so it does not matter. So Laplacian, send Circular and Diameter. Send the random card and send a monster that they have. I'd say send the Martha. If only because that's the only one with actual decent attack.
Well, this one might be named on other cards.
The thing is that those cards often need cards either on the field or in the graveyard, meaning it doesn't really matter.
I was also thinking the Martha, they might trigger our guys by banishing one of our cards, so Martha has that strength.
Again, that's why I asked you to summon out the Superfactorial now to summon out monsters from the graveyard before Exo-Sisters are on the field. Okay, they already have another Pax. I'd say to negate this.
That forces their last card to do something, right?
Yeah. And we still have follow-up and Red Reboot if worse comes to worse. Okay.
Hey, I like Red Reboot here. Seems like a good idea.
Again, we just hard drew it, so again, that's more just a case of luck in that scenario, but still.
I'll take it.
Okay. It's more than likely a trap, so.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, do we make an Appaloosa to negate this, or just not care about it?
I'd say first we'll go into Transcode Talker using the IP and the Alan Bershon.
I don't think we searched something.
No need to use Wicked.
All right.
We only have Sigma in the deck now, and may as well keep it there for if we ever need to get Circular summoned.
All right.
Okay. I'd say
Like, this doesn't do anything anymore, right?
no, not anymore. I'd say normal summon Nabla. I would have preferred to summon the Wicked Zone, but doesn't really matter.
Oh, well, we don't want to banish a card in the graveyard while this is here.
I know, but again, it's just a case of keeping it under the Wicked's protection, and it has its own continuous effect.
Ah, okay.
I'd say use Nabla's effect, tribute the Laplacian, summon out Multiplication.
Ooh, do we get to summon Final Sigma for fun?
Not quite.
Oh, that would have been fun.
That would have been. That would have been, no doubt.
Totally not correct.
It's just a case of making sure we can, even if that card is something like a Pax, then that might disrupt us. But if we can get an access code in more than 8,000 attack, we should be Gucci. And
Keep doing that. Oh well.
Okay, now go for the Link 4.
What, Appaloosa?
No, go for the access code Talker.
Using
Multiplication, Nabla, and Multiplication. I'm sorry, I mean use Nabla, Multiplication, and Wicked for access code. And make sure to summon in the extra monster zone. Now we have multiple effects to trigger. First of all, Nabla, then Multiplication, then
does
access
the order
code.
of those matter?
Not really, just make sure access code is last.
Alright, so Nabla says it can attack, or...
And look at that access code right now.
It's a pretty fat access code.
Addis? Okay. We have Red Reboot, may as well use it.
I know. I was just thinking, like, if we don't bother, does it matter? Because those cards aren't gonna... Well, I guess they would activate when access code...
none of the traps can be used, and we can use access code to destroy at least before it can trigger. So yeah, we pretty much won this game now.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of, like, if we didn't have Red Reboot, would we have been able to do anything without attacking first? I think we would have had to attack. 2 attacks on monsters.
Like, they would have been able to get out monsters, but they would not be able to target us. So that would have been good.
Oh, right. Alright, so that's that.
Okay, that's more of a tough game because Exosisters can be a pretty difficult matchup for this deck, especially since we do manipulate that graveyard very often with Wicked, with Diameter, with Sigma, etc.
Gotcha. All right, let's go back to deck list and address anything that may or may not have come up. Yeah, and we're back with the deck list. Is there anything that didn't come up that you think is worth mentioning? Like, we never went into Final Sigma. We never had a real reason to side in the Arrival Cybers.
Yeah, the Arrival Cybers, like, there is an argument to be made that could have been used in that last game against the Exo-Sister Katachi Log players, since they can't really get over 4,000 attack. But I wanted to make sure we had enough follow-up in case they had the worst-case scenario cards, like Dark Ruler No More and such. Okay. And if they went for Dark Ruler No More first, then that would have turned off IP and turned off access to the Arrival. And besides, in that particular scenario, Appaloosa does the job just as well.
Gotcha.
Everything we've gone through today was mostly the standard play lines. We didn't summon Final Sigma, but I will note it can be very useful if you're up against a Sprite player and they don't have any disruption left and they have a out on field. This is actually a neat play. If you look back at my CSM match against Sprite in the top 8, like I was in the final game, I was in a scenario where I had only a Liberation with a negate and 2 monsters on field. With those, I could have easily gone for Final Sigma OTK while having the Laplacian negator, meaning I could effectively win without having any kind of response from them.
Okay, so
however, in that game, I completely forgot about the Final Sigma OTK line. So I went for more of a risky play. I went for update access code without having Laplacian on field.
If memory serves, you won that game anyway. Didn't have anything.
Yeah, thankfully, like the face time was only cross-out designator, but if it was anything relevant, like say impermanence, then that would have been the death of me.
Gotcha. All right, cool. I think that wraps us up here. Anything I want to plug Mathmech Discord one more time? Anything else you could think of you want to say before?
Yes, I will say the Mathmech Discord. While I did not get into some of the mathematical reasoning in this particular video, going on the Discord will give you all the proof and all the insight that you need if you want to get a bit more details into the fundamentals of this deck. And I do have a number of variants available, say Ibli variants using some of the microcoder engine for access to head conflict, or using more desires heavy builds. But however, I will note in those builds they often excise small world, for due to the clash and how they interact with each other, as well as changing up a couple of the ratios in this list. I mainly went for small world only before hand traps are not as good as they used to be, and sides, you need to be very specific sides to be worth it, meaning it only comes up in games 2 and 3, and it can be a bit of an oddball scenario. I'm more of the case of small world for circular, and circular is my win button, effectively.
Gotcha. All right. Sounds good. Anyways, the link for Mathmech, the Discord, will be in the description below. Everyone make sure you like the video, subscribe, share it around if you want this series to continue. And yeah, once again, Yugioh Paradox, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate this. Everyone check out the CSM matches, which are on MBT's channel. And hopefully we'll see a lot more mathematics being played at regionals and so on.